Hey guys, I'm back, and this is a redo of this unboxing video. Unfortunately, I filmed this earlier today, and I don't know what was going on with me, but as I was watching and editing, it was like a no energy video. It was terrible. It was terrible. I did a crappy job, so I'm reshooting the whole thing. Unfortunately, I also don't want to lie to you guys and put like things I've already unboxed back in boxes and try to act like surprise and stuff. So we're just gonna review what came in the monthly Knife Club Onyx package this month and show you the knives. And my apologies for whatever went wrong with the first go around. I don't know, but so anyway, monthly Knife Club Onyx box, one of my top favorite subscriptions in the world, and this month we've got a twofer, which is pretty cool because, you know, sometimes that happens in monthly Knife Club. You know, if you haven't checked out monthly Knife Club, I'm going to put a link in the video description. You know, just to their general website. They have so many different packages and boxes that you know of different price ranges. I like the Onyx because you're guaranteed to get high-end stuff, higher end stuff than a lot of others, and you know the value has never not been there in the Onyx box. We've gotten some really awesome blades, sometimes fixed, mostly folding, but you know sometimes they just manage to pack the box with two instead of one, and that's really awesome, and this is one of those months. So we're going to take a look at both these. We've got a fixed blade from Ruike, we've got a folder from CRKT, and we'll start just like I did in the original video with the Ruike, and I want to say this, it's probably on the box, I don't have to guess. Yeah, the F181. Now this guy right here, you know, technically I would call this a clip point Karambit, but you could also make the argument, if you wanted to, based on some other knives out there, that it is more kukri than Karambit. What I know is that Boker puts out the Wildcat, which is a folding Karambit, and it's got a very, very, very similar blade shape. I also know that the Michael Hawk fixed blade kukri also shares a similar, not as close, this really closely matches the Wildcat much more than the Michael Hawk, but they would call that a Karambit. It's got the ring though, you know, and its size and everything makes me say Karambit. So it's a very interesting shaped Karambit, you know, with the clip point blade and the recurve. You know, it breaks away from the normal kind of Karambit shape you're expecting. For the packaging, came in this box, and then inside this box it had came packed in a bag, which I don't know where that is, but it had foam protection. It had the standard Ruike warranty information and little information pamphlet, and then the actual specs about the knife there, which I'm going to show you, and we're gonna, well, I'll show you all the specs at the end because it's all on the card when I talk about the value of the box this month. Okay, so packaging is pretty good. I like this foam. I'm going to use it for a lot of different stuff. That has nothing to do with this video though. It comes with a hard case sheath, which retains very, very well. Okay. You can remount it in different ways to suit your particular carry preference, but it has this little rotating cool thing. I think we saw this recently, fairly recently, with Real Steel and their Bushcrafter 2, this kind of rotatable belt loop slash clip here. Now, I don't know if this is actually removable from here. You could also use this big piece, though, just to strap it to your gear and stuff, or even as a wide belt loop if you wanted to set it up like that. But in any case, well made, very rigid, very hard, and good retention of the knife without making it hard to get out. The knife itself, so I guess now we can discuss, because we're going to. There are some people that absolutely love the Karambit. There are some people that don't like it and don't find it very practical. And then there's the different kind of blade shape than the usual just kind of curved Karambit blade. Personally, I think that this blade makes it more useful than just a regular Karambit for standard things, for other than self-defense and fighting. You know, and people will tell me that a Karambit is a great utility knife. I just personally don't see it. I don't feel that. I feel like if you've got the training to use a Karambit, it is an excellent fighting tool, self-defense tool. But if you don't have the skills and the training to use it effectively, and I don't, guys, I've never taken those kinds of courses, then, you know, it's a scary looking knife, and sometimes just the sight of it can kind of scare someone off, but it's not always the most effective, you know, tool as a knife goes. Now, I know before somebody even says the history of the Karambit, yes, it was way back in the day. It started as a farming tool, but it also had a drastically different shape, and less of a curve in that ancient farming tool before it was turned into a more of a weapon blade with more of a, you know, tiger claw type shape. If we want to really go back in the history of it, I know that it is also used in a lot of, you know, places still to this day for farming and agricultural use. But that's, to me, that's different than a utility knife. Having this front belly and this recurve here is a really interesting design factor. To me, it puts a little bit more of the utility into the Karambit shape than just the standard curved blade, because now you have a nice, not only do you have the cutting power, but you have a nice edge that you can put flat on a surface to get some work done, you know, and that's a little bit different than most Karambits you see. For the recurve section, you've got, you know, a really nice slicing area. So if you are going to do, I don't know, something agricultural, or you're going to cut some ropes or something like that, or just a general slice, you've got that. And that's really good for that. And then you've got the curved belly section up forward, which, like I said, you know, you could use this for utility work on a surface, but the general shape of this also lends itself to skinning. This is a good shape overall, you know, for if you need to do wood processing out in the field, or all sorts of other stuff. I mean, it's a really interesting shape as it goes. Obviously, it's full tang and little front heavy, as you would expect. On the ring part, you have a glass breaker / temple smasher, whatever you want that to be. It's, you know, it's a little bit small in terms of handle size, especially when you're dealing with big hands. Now, you've got the choil here, where you can choke up. A recurve is already a challenge for sharpening for some people, and I owe all of you a recurve sharpening video. It's really not, I mean, it's, once you get into it with the right tool, it's not that hard, but the choil also provides you the ability to sharpen all the way to the end without hitting the ricasso or anything like that, you know, and leaving an unsharpened part. It has on the thumb ramp there, it has nice jimping. It kind of grabs your thumb. It could be a little bit more aggressive, but it works. Along the spine, I wish they put some jimping in there, because that would be a great place. Like my thumb, if I'm going to hold this knife, I've got to hold it kind of upwards like this. Even if I'm using the ring, and I don't like the ring, it just, the handle's a little small, and I want to put my finger in the choil and thumb up to choke up on it a little bit. Not only is it more comfortable, but it also gives you great control of that curved belly there, so you can do whatever you want to do with it. I think jimping up there would have been awesome, but overall, very well made. Fit and finish is great. These scales are G10, and they are really nicely machined. Gives you lots of grip without cutting into your hand at all. You probably can't tell, but there's a little bit of a curve to the back of the handle there, which fits the hand really nicely and feels good. You can get a really good grip on this just with the scales here, just, you know, gloved or open hand or whatever, because of the texturing there. It's really nicely done. It also comes in black, by the way, but I actually am glad we got this tan color. That looks pretty cool. The steel is Sandvik 14C28N, which is a good stainless steel. I mean, it will hold an edge pretty well, but it will resist corrosion very well. And, you know, I don't know. Personally, if I had to pick one of the, I mean, it'd be great to have a super steel that you don't have to worry about, you know, edge retention or corrosion or anything. But if I had to pick one, I'd rather, I'm up on my sharpening game. I'd rather have an edge I have to retouch now and then than deal with a blade that requires a lot of maintenance and, you know, special care, and then the possibility of cleaning off rust and stuff like that. But, you know, Sandvik is a good all-purpose steel. It really is. And I think it's a good choice. One of the things that I noticed the first time go around with this knife is that it cuts incredibly well, no matter which part of the blade you're using. With the recurve there, you can't even feel it go through the paper, and as good as that is, it's even better with the forward belly there. You know, I don't have 550 cord. I do have 550 cord over here that we can mess with. You know, because it's got that belly, we can. I mean, it rolls right through. There's no effort, and that's a nice sound. Listen. There's no effort in doing it. You just roll the blade down, and you get these perfectly clean cuts. It's really, really well finished. You know, right out of the box, take it out, you're ready to do whatever with. So while I normally wouldn't, you know, really be into a Karambit, this one I think offers a little more functionality. So I kind of like it, but at the same time, it's such an odd shape. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't dislike it. I just don't know how likely I am to carry this thing. Although I know in my brain, like, it's a good shape. It's very functional, and you know, it could work very well for you in a number of situations. It's not the standard Karambit look. I had said over and over in the first video, you know, just I'm on the fence about how I feel about it. I'm not doubting that the value of this knife is there, but is it something that I would realistically, you know, use it all? I can tell you though, if I just saw this in a store, if I was shopping, online catalog, brick and mortar store, whatever, and I saw this, I wouldn't even go to it. I wouldn't even try it. You know, and bringing in again one of the values non-monetarily of the subscriptions boxes is that you get to experience things that you might normally not, you know, that you might shy away from, or it wouldn't occur to you to give it a shot. And getting it in the box and putting it in my hand, I can tell you it's a practical shape. It has its advantages, and it's, you know, I might miss out if I just randomly saw the shape and said, oh, that looks weird, and didn't get it in my hand. I mean, it really is a comfortable knife to hold. And again, if you're into the Karambit style, you can use it for all the things you can use a Karambit for. It's got this clip point here gives it a really wicked, nasty edge there. So, I mean, puncturing type stuff, as well as a sweeping cut because of how well the blade is finished. This is going to do really well in that arena. But it's a nice knife. It's a nice knife. I like it. I'm not sure if it's something that I would keep in the collection, you know, for a while. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know about this one. But in terms of the actual finishing of the knife in production, really nicely done. So that is knife number 1 in the box. Knife number 2 comes to us from CRKT, and it is the Goken. It's, you know, obviously sounds kind of Japanese-ish. It has a Japanese kind of look, but more importantly, it's got the field strip takedown system, which is pretty cool if you haven't used that to take one of these knives apart. If you're the kind of person who likes to do maintenance on your knives and take them apart and maintain them, one of the most frustrating things is you know, getting the right, you know, multiple bits for your screwdriver, multiple screw sizes and all that stuff, and then keeping track of them. The field strip takedown system eliminates all of that, but we'll get to that. So overall, you have 2 G10 slabs, basically, an inset liner lock. So you don't have actual liners here. So I mean, is it even really a liner lock? It's like I don't know exactly how to describe it. I know there's a term out there, but you'll see it's just a piece of what would be a liner lock secured into the G10, which is kind of cool. It keeps it light. You've got a deep carry clip that's adjustable for left or right, tip up only, but it's nice that you get the clip. And it's not springy, but it's also not too stiff. So, you know, it's not going to shred the top of your pocket or anything, or give you problems. And when you're holding it, you don't feel that clip at all, by the way. It's a really well-designed clip. I like it. You've got a very Japanese look to the blade there. I did another video, I think it was a Raven Crest unboxing once, where I talked about the difference in terminology for Japanese blades from Tanto, Kwaiken to Katana and stuff like that. And it's not so much, the actual Japanese words are not related to the shape of the blade. We've associated shapes with them, but it's more the blade length. But I think this has kind of the traditional Kwaiken shape in a Tanto size. Tanto means knife. It's a small one. But it's just, it doesn't look it It looks on this are really deceiving, but it's just a hair under 4 inches. I like the fact that it's got a very simplistic design, but it's still very functional. You can see kind of the traditional Japanese elements in it, but at the same time, kind of that modern machining and everything. So the G10, back to the G10, it's not a very rough texture, but it's enough for you to hold on to, and then the milling gives you some extra grip. So you're not likely to drop this thing. There's no 90-degree edges anywhere on this kind of box like handle shape here. So there's no hard edges, no hot spots, nothing like that. Very comfortable. Your hand fits around the whole handle. I mean, for big hands, it's pretty good. Easy access to the lock there without wearing on your thumb. Got a pretty small flipper too, and in the first iteration of the video I had to work it in a little bit, and I actually took it apart and oiled it, and then it really loosened up. But here's push button, which is the better flipping type on this that I've figured out, and here's light switch. I don't know if you can, I can see the difference myself, but maybe it's just because I know it's there. You can feel it, big difference in the deployment with push button and light switch. This blade also is finished so well. You can hear the difference in the cutting, so it's not as finely done as the bevel here, but it's still very nice. But you can hear it's a louder kind of cut. That also has to do with the blade, but I mean, you know, it's finished very well, but we've got a much nicer secondary bevel here. It's awesome. The really cool thing, though, about this CRKT line with the field strip is that taking it apart is so easy. Getting it back together can be a little bit trickier, but first, you just rotate that switch, and it's got these 2 D10 holes to hold it in the position. That has basically unlocked the pivot. Then, you rotate your thumb wheel here, which is going to unscrew the rear, and guess what? Your knife is apart. And you can see how simply it is designed. So if you have any problems, now you probably can't see these, this is screwed in beneath the clip there. You got a plastic backspacer here, but everything is also secured to the knife. So rather than having parts fall off all over the place, you can take it apart to do your basic maintenance, clean it out, oil it, take care of it. These nylon washers are fixed to the scales, as is the stop pin and everything else. So you know, it's not like when you take apart a regular knife, you've got pieces everywhere you got to round up. This is it. This is the whole disassembly. I mean, you can go further and take more apart, but you don't need to get it cleaned, do maintenance, whatever. Putting it back together, putting it together is easy. Getting this to lock back up is not as easy. What happens is when you rotate this switch to the locked position, it kind of rotates and it catches, if you can see that little crown area, it catches inside there, that groove, to hold it on. It can be tricky to get it pressed just right together, and I've had this problem with a couple of, you know, on my old home front, which also uses the takedown, and another one I can't remember. But you squeeze it together, and then you rotate your thumb wheel again, and your thumb wheel locks the rear in place, and then you just kind of gotta sometimes wiggle with it to get the front locked again, but there you go. And your blade is now locked, and you're good to go. It's a pretty cool system. I just got a little oil on it, but one of the things I really liked was the finish on the blade. It's not like a painted finish. It's a real nice, less reflective coating. I won't say non-reflective, but it's got a really nice coating on it, whatever it happens to be. It could be DLC, I'm not sure, but it's a nice coating on it. Mine was off-center to begin with when it came out of the box. I don't know if it's, you know, a little bit too much pressing from the lock there, but it could be. But it was a little off-center to begin with. Had good lockup. When I did the lock test, the lock shifted a little later. Let's try it again, though. One of the things I didn't want to do was bang this tip, this very fine edge, right on the desk. So I'm gonna, you'll hear it still. Okay, and you can see when I did that, take a look though, the lock really travels. It really travels. Now, it's not unlocking, we're not losing it, but it doesn't stick. It goes right back to its old position. But really travels when you do that little tapping motion. So definitely not the knife you want to take out into the woods with you. I mean, batoning is somebody, Dragon Forge says, batoning is knife abuse. But not that kind of knife. Definitely an EDC style knife. And a nice one. CRKTs can be hit or miss for me. What I like about this one is that it is simple. It is very simple, and you just have lots of cutting surface here. It's German. I got a 1.4116. Is that what it is? Oh yeah, got it right. So nice German steel. They use it in a lot of different projects. It's a very effective stainless steel. Holds an edge. Fairly resistant to corrosion, and in this case you've got your coating on it, so you're really only worried about the edge there. But another good knife. I mean, a nice knife. Maybe not something I would have picked up intentionally on my own, but definitely a cool addition to the lineup with the field strip. So I like them both. They're pretty cool knives. Now, looking at the card, here are your specs for both knives. I'm going to leave it there for a sec. You can always pause the video and look at it. Okay. And then you've got your values. I say this over and over. The thing I really like that they do at Monthly Knife Club here with this Onyx box is they don't give you an MSRP value and say, here's what your knife is worth. They actually go to different sites on the internet. They find the lowest price and the highest price that they can find each knife for and put it on the card. So you have your cost of the box, and then your total actual value, not an MSRP value, but an actual value. If you were to go out and shop for these knives, you'd pay between $169.90 and $284.99. One caveat I will say is that these are actual prices that legit dealers are selling it for. There is something called the MAP, the minimal accepted price, or authorized price or something, and if you are an actual knife dealer, a reseller, you can buy direct from the company and get dealer prices. There's a minimum price you're allowed to sell it for. Sometimes you will find onesies and twosies, people, selling these for less than MAP. That person, if they're caught, can lose their rights to distribute for the company. And sometimes there is a sale in a special case where it could be a little cheaper, but in general, these prices are what it's going to be for around the internet. So this box absolutely has its value, definitely. Depending on the low end or the high end. If you're buying at the high end, the box has already paid for itself. If you're buying at the low end, the two of them together definitely make up for the price of the box and then some. So I mean, it's a really good value, this Onyx plan. I love it so much. I have not gotten a bad quality knife at all since I started getting this box, and it's one of my favorites because you're guaranteed to get higher end stuff. Or in this case, now we might say that like Ruike and CRKT, doesn't have the value of Kaiser or Browse or something like that, that they put in. We got a ZT last month that was awesome. But the combination of these two together, they're not low-end knives. They're good. I guess some people would, to price over $100, that to a lot of people that says, okay, that's a high-end price. These, I would say, are mid-range, but the two of them together are a great value in this box. They're certainly not low-cost knives, and they're backed by two companies that produce good products, really good products. So it's an interesting combination, and once again, I'm really happy with the choice of the Onyx collector's plan. But I encourage you guys to go check out what Monthly Knife Club has and see all of their different boxes. And all the different options they have, from a lower cost all the way up to they have the ultimate box, which is like $200-something, and you get all sorts of stuff in it. Yeah. What do you guys think? I'm really excited to see all the comments people are going to make about this guy right here. Like it, don't like it, love it, hate it. What are your feelings on this? I'm still sorting mine out. I need to talk about it. But also, and then we've got the CRKT. We've got the Goken. What are your thoughts on this? I like it. There we go. I need to break it in again now that I put it back together. There we go. I like it. I don't like it as much as some of the other ones I have in this line, but I like it better than one of them. So I mean, it's a nice choice. It feels secure in your hand. You know, I feel like I could use this to do my EDC type stuff, and it's not going to go anywhere on me. It's not going to fall apart. It feels like a solid piece, and that's important to me. So please do, guys, start your comments. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out what we've got here. I'm going to have to take a little trip up to McGuire Air Force Base in the next day or so to handle some business up there. If I get the opportunity, I might try to make a little video from on base. If you guys haven't been on a base, it could be an exciting, you know, if you haven't been on an actual military base, Air Force base, Army post, just different terminology for the same thing, it does amaze some people to see the small city in operation, you know, when they see everything that's actually on a base and how it works. I don't know. I'll see if I can do it. I don't know if I can. I actually have some work I need to get done on there, you know, and we'll see how that works out. But I hope you guys will join me if I get to do that and enjoy that video too. Remember, you are all absolutely awesome. I appreciate every single person, man, woman, child, llama, formless gas entity, whatever you happen to be. I appreciate everybody that's watching all my videos and making this channel what it is, and I'll be back again for you real soon.